Okay, welcome to Meet the Boss Junior. Today I'm speaking with you, Elizabeth Koff, CEO of Telstra Health. First question, you might know I like cars. What's your favorite car?
It's an interesting question that you ask because you're usually most in love with your current car because you pick it and choose it yourself. But my favourite car, believe it or not, is my uncle's 1958 Mercedes-Benz Ponton. And he died and for some reason decided to leave me the car. So if you do the maths, you'll know how old a 1958 Mercedes-Benz is. Very, very old. But it has great sentimental value to me, number one. And my husband and I are gradually restoring it. But it has such wonderful features such as a valve radio, which you probably don't even know what a valve radio is. It was one of the first innovations, or the headlights had a foot dimmer on-off switch, and there were lots of what were considered very advanced things for the day in the car, but now it's decidedly old-fashioned.
Okay, think back to when you were a kid. What did you want to do when you grew up?
My mother, when she moved house, had a big clean out, so she decided to give me everything that she'd collected over time when I was at school. So she gave me a book from school where I said, what do I want to be when I grow up? And it was a dietitian or a food technologist. Both obviously have a great interest in food, which I still have, but one is more definitely in the health space and one is in the commercial food sector space.
I want to hear all about your work, but first tell me your story. How did you become a CEO?
One thing I think that a lot of women say they became a CEO through to luck. There was no luck involved with it whatsoever. Becoming the head of an organisation really is about definitely having some intelligence to understand people and the business. It's really also about having what I say is a good emotional intelligence, a capacity to work with people and to engage people and share a vision. And the third way, I think, is persistence, to really try hard, to work very hard. There's a famous saying, the harder I work, the luckier I get. And I think it is hard work that gets you to the top. But from my perspective, I never had that aspiration that I was going to be a chief executive. But the way career opportunities arose, I arrived at that point and I was delighted and I've enjoyed it thoroughly.
Okay, so tell me about your company. What is your product and who are your customers?
I think one thing in my career consistently, I've always been interested in health. So just talking about my previous role, I had the unusual name of Secretary for New South Wales Health, and that managed the whole of the New South Wales health system. And I did notice you interviewed my successor in one of your interviews. And, you know, health has always been my passion because health makes a difference to people's lives. And I've always valued social justice and doing good things for people. Telstra Health then still is in the health space as the name applies, but what we're looking to do in Telstra Health is transform healthcare through digital solutions and through data and analytics to really enhance the way healthcare is delivered. And Telstra Health, as the name says, is part of Telstra, the national telecommunications company. that does all the mobile phones and all those sort of things across the country. So it's what's considered a vertical within Telstra, but it obviously is really committed to making a difference to people's lives through transforming healthcare.
Okay, so what do you love most about your job?
First of all, the feeling that you can make a difference with what you're doing, and I think work with purpose is absolutely critical. That you have to have purpose and meaning in what you do. At the moment, it's interesting from my perspective because I am relatively new to the digital and technology space. So I'm learning lots and lots of new things, and that's what makes it interesting too. One thing that I've learnt in life, you always continue to learn as you do jobs and undertake tasks at work. You learn from other people, you learn from academics, you learn from reading, and that makes you a better person. So I really love having my insights and knowledge expanded. But I also just like dealing with people, and I still have the opportunity to deal with lots of people who deliver healthcare. So that's what I think I like most about it.
So what's the hardest thing about your job?
The hardest thing I think is when you have to make tough decisions that impact on people's lives. In this current climate that we're in, most tech businesses are having to downsize. All the big companies, and downsizing is a term that's used really when you're cutting your costs. And to cut costs, usually salaries and wages are the biggest factor impacting on cost. And sometimes you have to make tough decisions to let some of your workforce go. And that's the hardest thing, because I'm a people person, and you always expect to treat other people like you would like to be treated yourself. And I think that's one of the hardest things.
What does success look like to you?
Success to me, and this is an interesting factor for me going from government to the private sector, and if you have your own business and a startup, success is usually measured around financial performance. And I actually think financial performance is not the only metric of success in business. You need to have a consciousness of the social good that you're doing. You need to realise the benefits you're making to people's lives, and even also the environment. Be conscious of those other factors. So it's more dimensions than just financial success.
So what's one piece of advice for me as I think about starting my own company?
I think I would, number one, take your father's excellent advice, because as much as sometimes when you're growing up you think your parents don't know anything much, they actually do. So I think your father would be an excellent advisor and mentor in what to do. But the second thing I'd say, pick something that you really, really are passionate about. Because you do spend a lot of time working, you invest a lot of energy and a lot of personal effort in starting your own business and following your career path. So you've got to be passionate about it, because you spend far too much time in life in your career and working. So enjoy it would be my suggestion, Liam.
Okay, looks like that's all we have time for today. Thank you so much for coming on this channel and sharing your story. Best of luck with your future.
Same to you too, Liam.